All right. Good morning to anyone tuning in. I'm your host, Sam Shady, and you're watching Shady Sports Network. But before we get into who our guest for today is, I wanted to remind everyone that we have launched Shady Sports merchandise with beanies, t-shirts, hoodies, and hats available today. Check out shadysportsnetwork.com/shop right after this episode to get your Shady Sports merch. Also, please share this video with every football fan in your life, and let's help Jeff get seen on his trip to the ultimate goal, which is, of course, the National Football League. But with that being said, today's guest is one of the most interesting players you will find in the USFL today. Originally recruited to play wide receiver for Army, he finds himself signed by the Memphis Showboats as a safety for the 2023 season. Without further ado, here is Jeff Ejekam. How you
How's
doing
it
today,
going,
Jeff?
man? Doing good. I'm doing good. Good to be on the show, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to have you on. Like I told you off camera, you are easily one of the most interesting players I've ever done research on in terms of how your career has kind of progressed. So I'm excited to get into it. But with that being said, I'm going to start with your high school career because, like I spoke to you about off camera, you kind of played both ways and then focused and then played both ways. So I wanted to kind of highlight that. So in high
Yeah.
school, you were actually playing both wide receiver and defensive back, correct?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Uh, at the time, were you recruited to play both positions in college, or were you viewed as strictly a wide receiver?
So it depended on the team. Like there were certain schools that wanted me to come in there as a safety. There were certain schools that wanted me to come in as a wide receiver. But primarily for me, I chose West Point, and actually West Point gave me the option. They said whether I can play safety or receiver, and I ended up going with receiver. Kind of funny because triple option offense. Somebody would be like, "Why would you do that?" But at the time, like I felt more comfortable at receiver. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. I guess that kind of propelled me to be able to do it later on in my career. So yeah, I went in as a receiver at Army, but I had the choice to actually play defense if I wanted to.
Interesting. So to me, that showcases what kind of athlete you are, because most schools aren't going to be like, "Hey, you can come in and play basically whatever position you want to play." So that's very interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, do you prefer offense or defense?
It's crazy because if you were to ask me that question maybe 2 or 3 years ago, like maybe even last year prior to me playing in Vegas, like I would have easily said offense. Everybody loves scoring touchdowns and celebrating catches and stuff like that. But after playing professionally on the defensive side of the ball, it's definitely a different feeling. And I would honestly change my answer to I actually prefer playing defense now. Just allows you to play the game a little bit more loose as long as you know your assignments and stuff like that. Like I guess the aggression from coming in from a triple option offense, having to block all the time, whether it be outside linebackers, D linemen, DBs. Like I was blocking every single position. So I guess kind of coming through like an aggressive offense like that, like the transition to defense actually was something that was, I'm not gonna say seamless, but a lot easier than usual. So I think that's kind of what allows me to kind of let loose and really play the game on defense. So
I love how you said that because when I was looking up your highlights, you were described often as the most physical receiver in college football. So this seems like a perfect time to highlight exactly how physical you were and play your college highlight film. So here's your college highlights. I believe it even says in here that you're the most physical wide receiver in college, but I was watching them right before you came on actually. So kind of just it makes a lot of sense watching how you played wide receiver that you play defense now in my mind.
Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of blocking. I was actually a person that was in the trenches a lot, so like they'd have us flexed a lot in the offense. And you'd have combinations. You'd actually have combo blocks with offensive linemen. So it's definitely something different from the receiver position at any other school. I would, like I said, we actually started that thing, the most physical receivers in college football while I was there, because we really just took pride in, yeah, we may not have 10 catches a game, 5 catches a game, 7 catches a game, but we try to make an impact in that offense as much as we can. And then once we do get our opportunities in the passing game, we make the most out of it and, be those big play receivers down the field. But the thing that I love the most about that offense, man, is just, like I said, it taught you to just be a team player. You couldn't be selfish playing receiver at West Point. You had to be willing to do the nasty work, get in the trenches, block, 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 block. And then, like you just have to set a tone. Like a lot of people think receivers are the prima donnas. Oh, like I want to just, catch balls and be able to be the fancy people, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like this offense, you have to be rugged. You have to be willing to go block people. You got to be willing to put people in the dirt. So I absolutely love playing that way.
Absolutely. I didn't mean to laugh, but right when you said that, you're putting a dude on his back because of a block. So I just thought that was kind of funny. You're literally saying how physical you are, and there it is right on tape.
Yeah,
So
man, it was cool.
absolutely, absolutely. So I feel like that offense kind of fit who you are as a player quite well, despite what you said about, you were going into a triple offense or a triple option offense as a wide receiver, which is kind of
Right.
counterintuitive.
No, yeah.
So
100%.
during my research, I came across a fact that both impressed me and kind of made me wonder how you ended up in Army, to be quite honest. But
Mm.
you were recruited by Ivy Leagues coming out of high school, which to me showcases that you're not just an athlete, you're also a scholar. So, with Ivy Leagues showing interest, what led you to choose Army University and carry on the legacy of the Black Knights? And what did it mean to you to be part of such a historic program?
Yeah, so I think with West Point, what really kind of like made things like the what I felt like was a perfect fit was that it was just something about hearing it. Because like I'm not gonna lie, back when I was in high school and stuff, like I heard Army, I've heard West Point, but like at the same time, like I never really knew what how important that was to be a part of something like that until I started doing my research and until I got the offer. So crazy story is I actually signed my letter of intent to a Division II school out in Florida, but I guess the scholarship paperwork didn't come back correctly or something like that, and it actually kind of led me to actually having my letter of intent pulled because there was I didn't agree to student loans that I basically would have to take on and stuff like that. So pretty much after that, I was kind of like, well, where am I going to end up? I don't even know what's happening. Da 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 da. And lo and behold, Army gave me a call. I had the option to go to those Ivy Leagues still, but I just felt like once I got that call from Army and I just started talking to mentors and people that went to the academy and stuff like that, it was a no-brainer that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Not only just from a football standpoint, being able to play Division I football, which was always a dream of mine, but just from a scholarly standpoint of just being in at one of the most top prestigious schools, really in the world, not only the nation. So I was looking at it from not only a football career move, but also just life, being able to set myself up for life and separate myself from the common person. And I wanted to do something different. West Point. I'm from Houston, Texas, and West Point is far, far away from Houston. So I wanted to be able to do something that was a little different than what people do in my family. Both my brother and sister, they went to school pretty close to the Houston area. So I just wanted to take a chance on myself and see, all right, what can I do? How can I push myself and become a better person overall? And that's exactly what the academy did for me.
Absolutely. So I asked you this off camera, but I figure I'll ask it on camera for the fans. But did you have any Army background or military background in your family prior to attending?
Yeah. Nah, I'm actually the first one in my family to pursue military profession. So it was definitely it was a shocker, an eye opener. I felt like I was a pretty disciplined kid. My parents raised me right, and I felt like I did the right things and stuff like that. But just as far as the disciplinary measures, as far as like being regimented, scheduled, have to be on time for this, have to be here in this amount of time, it was definitely challenging, and it definitely heightened my discipline, my bearing, and just how I carried myself as a person. Because it's no walk in the park when you go to the academy. It's very rigorous academically, and then just playing Division I football is, as you're doing those academics, it's pretty intense and it's pretty insane if you look back on it and see like, wow, I really made it through that. So
Absolutely. To me, I mean, if you're at one of these military academies, not to put words in your mouth or say anything that you wouldn't, but I feel like your conditioning is probably top notch.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
discipline is next level. So, I mean, at that point, you are realistically exactly what a coach is looking for. I mean, because they want coachable players. They want players that are going to do whatever they ask. That epitomizes what the Army students are, quite honestly.
No, 100%. It's when I got in there, Coach Munkin, that was his first year. That was his first recruiting class at Army. So he definitely brought in, like, even when we were meeting guys prior to us even getting to the academy, like, you can tell that a lot of these guys had their head on straight, very disciplined, team players, and that's the type of people that you want on the team. And it's crazy that a lot of people back in the day, if you think about academy guys, you'd be like, oh, they're going and doing something that nobody else would do. They're serving our country. That's great. But there's a lot of talent that actually comes through these academies. And it's being shown now. Like, I have a couple of teammates of mine that are already in the NFL. Elijah Riley, Cole Christensen, Radigan for the Seattle Seahawks. So it's just like, you have a lot of players that are coming from academies that are actually showcasing that, it's not just a disciplinary thing. Like, we also have talent from these academies. So yeah, it's definitely it works both ways. It works both ways. Like, the football program definitely is something that really I give credit to for the way that I've been able to progress my career, because like I said, it's not just from a discipline standpoint. Like, those coaches over there at Army really get you prepared to play the game. So
Absolutely, and I would completely agree based on what I've seen on film and where you're at. I mean, it's kind of a testament to your coaching at the lower levels and how you've kind of progressed in your professional career. So we got a couple comments I'm going to run through real quick. Inside the Lines, another channel that does a lot of player interviews. Definitely check out his channel if you're interested. Anybody watching. And then he always makes this joke, Sam the Leg Shady. I made a joke a little while ago about my ability to kick a field goal. Apparently, it's never going to go away now, so it's kind of funny. But he also said Jeff's going to make it. Love the mindset.
no,
I
I
too.
appreciate that.
I definitely, and that's a big reason why I wanted to speak with you, because I feel like the way your career has progressed, it shows your dedication to the game, and to me, that's what it's all about. The people who really love the game and want to be here and will do anything it takes to play football.
No, 100%, man. I started my football journey at 6 years old, and after college, was still seeking it. It's a little bit more difficult as coming from the academies, having to serve and stuff like that. But just was always trying to look for my opportunity and be prepared for when it came. And luckily it came this past year, 2022, with the Vegas Nighthawks, and I haven't looked back since. So I definitely love this game, especially having been removed from it 4 years and then being able to pick it back up. I don't take it for granted. So it's definitely, I'm very excited for the future. I'm very excited to just continue this journey and see how far I can go with it. So
Absolutely. So I thought it was kind of interesting. Despite your background playing defense in high school, you logged just one tackle in college. Did you play special teams and coverage units and stuff like that at the time?
yeah, so I was on kickoff a little bit, but for the most part, I actually was like a kickoff return, not the returner, but like frontline guy and stuff like that. Again, kind of similar to what I did on offense. But the coaches really just, like, they tried to put us in the best positions to succeed, and I feel like they absolutely were just like, look, this dude is so aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. Let's make sure that he's fielded every single time on offense. So I was, like, obviously sophomore year and junior year. So I started junior and senior year. Sophomore year, I was trying to work my way. So a lot of the times I was actually on kickoff return versus kickoff. But yeah, man, I guess I didn't need to be on kickoff for me to learn how to, tackle and fly around to the ball, because once I got to Vegas, that was that was what I was doing when I got on defense. But even in Vegas, I played pretty much every special teams from kickoff return to holder. So, like, I literally was doing everything in Vegas. And I make that a testament to Coach Mike Davis, who really believed in me, and that was the person that really gave me that call and got me to Vegas. So definitely give him credit to, putting me on the field and just allowing me to use my versatility for sure.
Absolutely. Coach Davis, if you're watching, thank you so much for what you've done for Jeff and getting him to this level, because you're an awesome coach. And honestly, your success is showcased by the men that you've helped get to the next level. So just a testament to that organization and the coaching staff that there is there for sure.
100%.
So while talking off camera on Twitter, actually, you told me that you're actually up to about 220 pounds, if I have that correct.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I fluctuate. I try to get to a weight that I feel comfortable playing at, especially now playing on the defensive side of the ball. Um, I don't know, like I feel like I move pretty well at 220, 210 area. So I try to get in and bulk up. I've been doing a lot of bulking this off season, a lot of mechanics in my sprinting pedals and everything like that. But yeah, so I'm constantly weighing myself, and I've been fluctuating between 215, 220 now. I'm sure by the time camp comes, I'll be probably playing at maybe 215, 210. So
Okay, gotcha. Was there a reason why you ultimately kind of opted to add a little bit of weight for the season, or was it just natural that's how you fluctuate?
yeah, naturally I tend to fluctuate just off of like my training regimen in the off season. I do a lot of heavy lifting, and even on the mechanic side of things, I still make sure my mechanics are good when it comes to running mechanics, pedal mechanics, agility, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I do feel comfortable playing at a heavier weight, and it just gives me. I feel like it gives me a little bit more backing, especially playing defense, being able to be a run stopper because Memphis signed me to be a ball hawking safety, whether it's playing coverage or being able to be a run support in the run game. And you got to be able to move, but you have to be able to bring something with that power. So I wanted to make sure that I was playing at a comfortable weight where I can still move very well and fluid, but also being able to put on a little bit of mass so that I'm able to make an impact whenever I'm in the run game, or even really just even in the passing game. So.
Absolutely. To me, the true great safeties in the game are those guys that can do both, like you spoke about. They can be a ball hawk that can come down and lay the wood in the run game. So to see the fact that you're playing at 6'2", 220 some pounds, or 215 pounds, I mean, that's perfect size for a safety. And you've got a background as a wide receiver. So we know if the ball hits your hands, you're most likely coming down with it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm coming down with it. There's no way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Absolutely. So I during my research, I actually kind of found you attended a hub camp in 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I actually went to the hub camp in September 2021. That was actually kind of like, so I had a couple of workouts here and there. Like 2020, I believe I had a workout with the Seahawks and the Bills. 2019, I had a workout with the Ottawa Red Blacks, and then 2018, before I graduated from West Point, I had a local day with the Giants. So I had a couple opportunities to kind of showcase and stuff like that. But that hub camp actually was the thing that was the first time that I really started seeing a lot more traction. Just with the amount of scouts that were there, made a lot of connections with different NFL, CFL teams. But ultimately, after the hub camp, that's when Coach Mike Davis reached out to me. Granted, I don't know if it was necessarily, from that, but I felt like the hub camp definitely gave me a lot of exposure to just kind of getting your name out there, and just having that backing of the whole staff that runs the hub camp is just amazing to have. Even Coach Eugene Chung was working with me. I was actually going to the hub camp as a tight end / wide receiver. And it was Coach Chung that really kind of like helped me get into the mix and stuff like that. So the hub camp definitely was something that I enjoy. I encourage players. If you are somebody that's needing more exposure, like that is a good source to go out there and definitely try for the hub camp. And yeah, like I said, I'm not I can definitely say that after the hub camp, I felt a lot more comfortable in my, I guess, recruitment, if you want to say, because that was again right after the hub camp. That's when Coach Mike Davis reached out to me, and it just propelled me, and I started getting a little bit even more phone calls from other IFL teams and stuff. But ultimately, Coach Davis was the most understanding of my situation as far as being a military guy and stuff like that. And like I said, I can't thank Coach Davis enough for giving me a chance to play. So.
Definitely. So speaking of coach, I wanted to get a quote from him. He's one of my contacts in the IFL, a guy that's just again, just a great coach in my personal opinion, and a guy who's really approachable. So thank you again, Coach Davis. His words were, "He's a great football player that's a team first guy and an even better man. Will do anything he can to win and help his team win." I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on these words? I mean, obviously, these are from a man that knows you quite well. Is there anything you can add to these, or do you think it epitomizes you as a player?
I mean, one again, like those are phenomenal words coming from a phenomenal guy. Like I said, it for someone to literally just make it happen for me. With such a unique situation for me, serving and stuff like that, he worked around my schedule, and like I said, coming from Coach Davis, that's it's amazing, and I think it definitely does epitomize what I stand for. I'm a team first player. Like I said, I will wherever the coaches need me to go, I will go and I will make the biggest impact that I can. It doesn't matter what position it is, where it may be, whatever the team needs to win. That's what I want to do, and that's ultimately what any player should want to do. Do anything for their team to win, and I really hone my game in that. I make sure to ensure that my teammates know that, my coaches know that. Like it's not something that's just like in the back of my head. I do it with my words, my play, and just with the passion of the game. And it truly means a lot coming from again Coach Davis, just because of the relationship that we've built over the time. And we still chat to this day. I try to help him get players and to kind of take that same path that I did, and I make sure they kind of go through him because it worked for me. I know it can work for somebody else. So yeah, it definitely is something that I try to do. I try to use my platform. I try to use the game to elevate others, and with my teammates and everything like that, I make sure that I'm doing it for them and I'm doing it for the coaches. I'm doing it for the organization. So again, thank you so much, Coach Davis. If you're tuning in, I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, just a great coach and a great man, outside of football, in my personal opinion. So
100%.
obviously, hopefully we hope that your career only goes upward from here. But hearing how you talk about Coach Davis, I would assume that you would entertain a return to Vegas if it ever came to it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love that market. The fans are amazing. I've met so many people while out there in Vegas. It was definitely it felt like home. The community really comes around you. Teammates were great. Like I said, and obviously you're in one of the most entertaining cities in the world almost. So just that whole platform, that whole city, like it's amazing how much support we got, especially us having an inaugural season last year. It was so much support from the city, and we made sure to give back to the community as well, the way they poured into us. So yeah, I definitely would entertain that. But like you said, all eyes are going forward. USFL, I'm here with the Memphis Showboats, and we'll see where my career goes after that.
Absolutely. I would assume and hope the NFL so shortly. But
100%. That's
while
the
we're
goal.
here, we might as well play your professional highlights as well. So here's the highlights from Vegas last season, which again, just very impressive film. So Coach Davis, I also asked him about your performance specifically on defense because I was curious. Obviously, more of your time has been spent on the offensive side of the ball. So I was very interested to hear his words. And he said he stepped in when I needed him and performed great. We talked early on that I thought he could be a DB. His attention to detail is amazing, and he will always do his job and be where he is supposed to be. How did this subject of playing both ways ultimately come up? I mean, was it immediately once you guys started to suffer injuries, or was there a conversation the second you joined the team?
So I mean, I told I told Coach Davis, like, no matter what, even prior to signing, when we were just kind of going back and forth, I said, wherever you need me to play, I'll play. I don't care where it is. I'm a versatile player. So just tell me where to go and I'll go. So he signed me as a receiver, and we had some injuries here and there, and we were depleting on defense. So he was just like, we need somebody to step up, and so I said, I'll do it. And so he put me out there, and essentially, like, it was just gave me the basics of the defense, and I kind of just took it and ran with it and just kind of fed off of the other guys on defense, and it felt very natural. To be honest with you, I actually felt real comfortable playing that position, down at safety. So it was just being able to help in the run game and be an influence in the pass game too. But it was definitely a thing that I definitely give credit to him, just simplifying the game for me and just making it fun all over again and allowing me to fly around the ball. So yeah, man, it was. I'm like even just watching the highlights and stuff. Like I could tell how much fun I was having playing that position, playing on defense. So I look forward to continuing to play that and using my knowledge from the receiver skill set to be able to apply on defense. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm kind of curious, were you still playing offense as well, or was it just a situation where you were needed on defense, so you focused on defense?
Yeah, so actually I was playing like anytime they needed, one of the receivers needed a break or something like that, I would actually jump in on offense as well. So there was games where I'd be on the field and then, just get off of defense on a change of downs and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they're like, yo, jump in there, Jeff. We're like, we need you to get in there. And I'm just like, oh. So it was definitely, again, shout out to Army for conditioning me and getting my wind right. But it was definitely a lot of running around and just you always had to be ready. And I was eager to get in the game. Like I said, prior to coming to Vegas, I was removed 4 years from football. So man, like just being able to get anytime I was able to be involved in the game, I seized that opportunity. So anytime they needed me to jump in, I jumped in.
I love that. I love that. So we got some more comments to run through real quick. This one I feel like is not relevant, but I'll go ahead and pull it up anyway. He says, does he have a passport? I'm assuming he was asking for like ELF, GFL reasons, but he's with the USFL, so I don't think that's going to be a concern right at the moment.
I do have a
He
passport though.
Okay, there you go. There you go. For any coaches interested, just in case, there you go. He's also says, I want to go one-on-one with him live. Either I get exposed or he does. Yeah, good luck, Tylis. That's all I'm going to say, buddy. And then he says, if you're not first, you're last. And then again, another comment. And it looks like he's got a new profile picture there that looks awfully familiar, possibly our thumbnail for this episode. So,
awesome.
And then he says, Jeff the Hammer Ejekam. I like that.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Absolutely. So in 2022, you end up playing in, I think it's 7 games if stats are correct on the website.
Mm-hmm.
You collected 11 tackles, 14 receptions for 174 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you also got a carry in. So I'm kind of curious, given the fact that you've signed to play offense full time, would you still entertain offers to play defense full time? Would you still entertain offers to play offense if they came down the road after your time with Showboats?
Yeah, like I said, whatever the team needs me to do, whatever the organization needs me to do, I'm willing to do it. So if it is something where I have to step up and come play on offense, I will. But I'm trusting in the coaching staff and the organization to have the right players where they need to succeed and fit where they need to fit. But at the end of the day, I'm not opposed to anything at all. Wherever the coaches need me to play, I'm going to play. Because I tell everybody, like, I do play defense. I got signed as a safety, but at the end of the day, I'm a football player. So wherever I can help or wherever I can make an impact on, I'm going to go ahead and play that position. And, that's up to the coaches and up to the organization picking that. So I'm looking forward to playing safety full time. I'm really excited. I've been really honing in on my game so that, I can bring the best impact as I can to the organization. So we'll see what happens after that.
Absolutely. So I told you off camera, I'm very fascinated with kind of these hybrid players, guys you can call tweeners, I guess, so to speak. You're kind of right at that level, given the fact that you're 6'2", 215, 220 pounds. You realistically could play some linebacker. Would that be a role that you would welcome to play more in the box rather than, a true deep safety role?
It's funny you say that because I've been, visiting home here in Houston and stuff. I've been running into people and they've been like, anytime I come home or anything like that, they'll be like, man, are you trying to play defensive end? You trying to play outside linebacker now? Like, why? Like, you're bulking up. It's like every time I see you, you're getting bigger. But like, honestly, like I said earlier, like the weight kind of just like, that just kind of goes with my eating regimens and just lifting and constantly working out. So like, yeah, man, like I said before, if it ends up being that way, I'm perfectly okay with wherever the organization and where the coaches need me to go. I would never be opposed to doing anything, because at the end of the day, where you can find yourself on the field making an impact is what anybody should want to do. So I definitely, and I mean, in Vegas, I was down in the box. I was playing deep. Like, again, I try to just be as versatile as I can, so that anybody and anywhere they can fit me anywhere that they need to put me. So it's like I want to just be an interchangeable piece to wherever I'm plugged in, I can make that impact. So not opposed to it at all. Again, like I think I have a pretty good learning curve. So wherever they need me to go, I'm gonna go. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. So you're kind of uniquely positioned to answer this next question pretty well. So I wanted to ask you, from your perspective, do you believe that the NFL, with men like yourself that can do a little bit of everything on both sides of the ball, do you think guys like that kind of slip through the cracks in the NFL scouting because they don't know exactly how to project them? And then leagues like the USFL, the IFL, and stuff like that, they're providing opportunities for these guys because they're more willing to take an athlete and figure out how to play them.
Yeah, I think that it's just when you like the level of play kind of heightens obviously as you go up in the levels. And I think that it does help NFL scouts see versatility, but then like you said, it can get confusing because it's like, okay, where should we plug this player at? But again, that's I feel like, as I can speak for myself, I just try to take ownership of like wherever it is, just put the best film out there at the end of the day, and then allow the coaches to decide from there. And that's what, like I said, I try to credit myself and say, like, wherever you are positioned, like, make sure that you're studying the right way, practicing the right way, working out the right way, so that you're, again, able to make the greatest impact on the team. But I would say that I'm even more unique than those guys that play Iron Man or both sides of the ball, whatever you want to call it, because of a lot of those guys have probably gone to big time schools, as far as like the Ohio States or whatever. Like, you find a lot of good athletes that are able to do that, but like even early on, I started off at Army, which, again, a lot of talent comes through these academies, but not a lot of people see it that way because it hasn't always been that way. So it's almost like I was slipping through the cracks because of that as well. And then obviously playing in a triple option offense, like, it was a lot of banging around. So like, you can't really evaluate me the best. Like, you can't compare me to a receiver that went to Michigan, Ohio State, or any of these big time Power 5 schools versus me being someone that had 13 catches in their career at Army, 14 catches. So, it's it does make things tough, but at the end of the day, I think it's all down to your will to be a part of the game and get into the game, and just find where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I try to do. Especially the first thing I always try and do is get on the special teams, like, because I know special teams is not the most glamorous, and I want to be the one that's like, all right, if you don't want to do it, I'm going to do it. So
I love that mentality. Just, again, showcasing the dedication you have to the game. But I wanted to kind of shift gears a little bit. So obviously you played last season in the IFL. I'm curious, what advice would you give to players who are, maybe have an IFL deal on the table, but they're holding out for a deal with the USFL or the XFL? Would you tell them to take it, or would you tell them to continue to wait and hold out for that deal?
So, I mean, I honestly, like I said, opportunities are opportunities, and it's what you do with them. Like I said, I was getting entertainment from different leagues and stuff even prior to signing with the IFL, but you got to start somewhere, and that's what I tell people all the time. Like, it doesn't matter where you start; it's like how you finish. So, I will say honestly, like, playing in the IFL, like, it got me to the USFL. So I can't, like, it's not as if it's something that's like needs to be proven. It's been proven. And then now the IFL has just made a contract with the XFL. So it if you're waiting for those opportunities, then you're missing them, if that makes sense. Like, you need to be able to get in there and get the film, because at the end of the day, the film doesn't lie. So I definitely encourage people to one, find an organization that does fit with them, and a market that fits with them, just a team that's going to help them propel themselves to the next level. But don't shy away from these indoor leagues, these feeder leagues, how you want to call it. Like, these are solid opportunities. They're not something to look over and graze over, because I mean, if I were to graze over it, I don't even think I'd be here right now, but I definitely encourage going into those leagues and making a name for yourself 100%.
Absolutely. I would completely agree. And one of the teams that I highly recommend to any player who is considering the IFL is Vegas. Because, like we talked about, he has a track record of putting players at the next level, whether it's the CFL, the USFL, or the XFL. They've got players in all three leagues. So, definitely
100%.
a good landing spot. One of the best, in my personal opinion. So obviously we talked about it briefly. You've signed with Memphis Showboats for the 2023 season. I know that you weren't necessarily a part of the Tampa Bay Bandits last season, but I'm curious, do you prefer the Showboats logo and color scheme versus the Bandits logo and color scheme? And I know that's purely an opinion question. Feel free to
Man,
answer either way.
look, whatever color scheme we come up with that allows me to sign on that dotted line and say let's go to work, I'm good with. But no,
I love it.
they're
I
both
love
really good color schemes. I was excited either way. Like even with the rebrand, they really did a good job with the rebrand. And just like the logo was nice and just the hype around it. I was really, really, really excited to even be a part of that. And then just the city too, like being able to actually move the hub to Memphis as well too. There's been so much support from Memphis fans already, and that in itself is very telling and very it makes me very excited to just be out there and play for an organization like the Showboats. So I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, did you watch the USFL last season?
I did. I actually did a lot. Like, and it was, I don't know why people were kind of like, initially people kind of didn't believe in the league. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and there's a lot of like rumor mill and stuff like that. People talking, but every time I watched the game, I was glued to the TV. It was very entertaining. It was really cool seeing players get another platform to be able to play. And it was some good football being played there. So I was very excited when I got the call to say that I was going to be playing in the USFL. It really sparked me up. So yeah, I watched a lot of football, especially because I was playing it in the spring, and it was just nice to be able to like still have football on, not just in the fall. And it was, like I said, it was real good football, very entertaining, and it just was kind of motivating to be like, okay, like I can be on this field too. So it was definitely fun to watch.
Obviously, you can be. With that being said, it's going to be a very interesting season with the fact that we have the XFL straight into the USFL, straight into the CFL, right back into the NFL, and it's just going to be a constant cycle from here on forward. So
Yep.
I'm very interested to see how that works and if interest ever wanes for football or if it just ramps up because we have constant football now.
No, 100%. No, I mean, I've always that's kind of been one thing of me growing up. Like whenever NFL season ends, it's just kind of tough. Or college season ends, it's tough because you're just like, man, now we got to wait a whole another 6 months for some football and stuff like that. But now you don't have to wait; it's year round. Um, and I think that it's just you can't really get tired of it because it's so many different stories. So many different brands, like league wise, and like it's almost like you're getting a different game every single time. But it's just we're still playing the game of football. We're still playing out there. So.
Agreed. And most importantly, my personal opinion, what's best about these leagues is that the guys that are in these leagues are very hungry. They're giving it their all. They literally are playing like there is no tomorrow because for some of these guys, there may not be a tomorrow in terms of the outdoor game. So to me, I mean, if you like, players playing through the whistle, playing aggressive, hitting hard, playing literally with their all, the USFL, the XFL, these alternative leagues are really where you should be placing your fandom. I mean, quite honestly,
100%.
they are so exciting to watch.
Yeah, 100%. You got a lot of stories, a lot of backgrounds, and a lot of whys, and it's really. I mean, even playing alongside these guys, like it's definitely motivating and empowering just to hear the stories that people have, and like it really forces you to like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm doing my all because this guy has to feed his family. This is this dude's livelihood. Like this is all he knows. Like so, it just hearing the different stories and hearing people's whys, like it fuels me too because I know I have a strong why and a strong purpose on why I play the game. So it just brings that brotherhood together. It helps become a better teammate, and it really just helps become a better organization altogether. So
100% agree. It's definitely, like I said, it's one of those things where once you get into spring football, I feel like you're going to be a fan for life because it's just very exciting to watch.
100%.
Uh, but another reason why I think fans should be paying attention is some of these names that are being signed. I mean, if you want recognizable names, there was Robert Ndici, Brandon Speaks, or Breland Speaks, sorry about that. And then on your team, Alex Collins, former
Yep.
NFL running back. So
Yep. Yep.
just kind of interesting to see all these big names popping up. I mean, it's obviously high level football. It's a mixture of the best in the indoor world and the people who are not quite the NFL level and need a place to play. So I mean, personally, it's a perfect mixture of talent in my mind.
No, 100%. It's like I said, even watching it last year, it was entertaining, good football. Like you said, there's some big name signing. Like, and these are not like these are not regular names. Like I've even in the IFL, I had guys like Katie Cannon on my team, Coney Ely, Matt Elam. Like Matt Elam was a first round pick, you know. So like these are not guys that are just not good. There's good football being played in these leagues, so definitely looking forward to it for sure.
Absolutely. NFL can only employ so many people, so there needed to be
Right.
these other leagues for other guys to play. So in 2022, again, as we spoke about, you were not a part of the Bandits defense, but you are a part of the people coming in to try and improve them, in their new namesake, the Showboats. So
Right.
last season, despite the fact that their record didn't reflect it, they were actually one of the better points per game defenses. They only allowed about, I think it was a 19.1 points per game last season. What do you think it will take from all these new faces coming into the defense in 2023 in order to improve upon this fourth ranking last season?
Yeah, I just think it's all about being on the same page. I feel like if you're on the same page with your teammates and you know your fits, you know your coverages, you know your calls, you know where you're supposed to be within the packages of the defense, like that's what's going to help us the most. And I feel like with a whole bunch of new guys coming in, it's almost like a clean slate, so to speak. Like now you're able to put those pieces together and really hone in on like building those relationships, and like it's kind of fresh, you know. And I feel like what I am, and what I intend to bring to the defense is that knowledge, being able to fit where I'm supposed to fit, knowing my assignment, and just playing fast. And I feel like once you're playing fast, playing physical, and playing loose, and you know your assignment, that's what's going to really be able to help. When you have 11 players doing that on defense, it makes it fun, you know. And that's what I want to bring to. I want to make sure um, I'm bringing the fun to football, because a lot of times, as players, you get so caught up in like the grind, and I got to grind for mine, I got to get this money, da 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 da. But at the end of the day, it's like if you're out there having fun, because I mean we were playing this as kids for fun, like remember why you played the game. And I want to be able to bring that to the team, just level-headed leadership, and like I said, just being that guy that can make the calls and put people in the right places and fit in the right places. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just always operating as a unit, operating on the same page. And once you do that, it's gonna be the force to reckon with for sure.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the playing safety, who are some players that you've looked to kind of study their game?
Whew. Man, it's crazy that you say that, because like I'm always trying to pick like different things from different people. Like everybody always asks me when I was playing receiver, like, oh, who do you model your game after? But it's like I just play my game at the end of the day. I try to study people to get things from them and try things. I typically pick people around my frame. So like when I was playing receiver, I tried to look at the DeAndre Hopkinses, the Andre Johnsons, Calvin Johnson type of players, because they're bigger receivers. The safety side, somebody that I've really been trying to study a lot is Cam Chancellor. And I feel like I mirror a lot of what, Cam Chancellor's game was. He was a ball hawking safety, a long, rangy guy, bigger guy. So, like, I want to be able to kind of fit that same mold of just what the Legion of Boom brought, So, like, Cam Chancellor is somebody that I try to study a lot. And also Brian Dawkins, Ed Reed, though they were more compact safeties, I like bringing aggression and pain. So those are people that did that a lot in the game of football. So just being able to kind of see where they fit, flying around to the football, I study those guys too, just so I can be able to have that mentality of being a back end safety, but also being able to fit the run. So yeah, those are definitely some safeties that I try to look at. And again, anytime I'm watching football, I'm just watching the position and seeing how they're moving, regardless if they're the same size as me or not. Just techniques that they use, fits that they use, and stuff like that. So I'm a sponge. I'm always trying to learn something, no matter who it is.
Absolutely. So will you be watching the NFL game later today?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not to put you on the spot, obviously you see I'm an Eagles fan, but what's your prediction for the Eagles Giants game?
Man, so I'm not gonna lie. Just obviously being in New York for 5 years, pretty much 4 years at West Point, and then I stayed a year to coach at the prep school. Um, and then I mean, heck, the Giants were the first team to really actually even kind of technically give me a shot with their local day. But I'm not gonna lie, Jalen Hurts is from Houston. That's my dude. Jalen Hurts is my dude for real. I might be rocking with the Eagles on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I might be rocking with
I'm
the
hoping.
Eagles. Yeah, I like the way the Eagles have been playing and just the turnaround that they've had from even just from the performance of Jalen Hurts himself. Uh, Turnaround has been a lot, and just seeing y'all are the number one team in the NFC. So it's like, hey, like I think the Eagles are going to get it done. I honestly think the Eagles are going to get it done. Now, granted, the Giants have been playing really, really, really good, so I can't even take that away from them. But I wouldn't be mad if I saw the Eagles win. Not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully I didn't get you any hot water with any of your New York family up there, but realistically, I was just kind of curious because you totally could have said the Giants. I think this is going to be a tough game today, and I'm
It
personally
is. It's
very
going to be a
interested to
really
see
good
how it's
game. It's going to be a really good
absolutely.
game. But I mean, at the end of the day, too, I'm a Texans fan from Houston, born and raised. So hey, like regardless, I'm just here to see a good football game. At the end of the day, if it was my Texans in there, I'd be rooting for my Texans. So I'll just leave it at that. Giants, ain't no bad blood or nothing like that. It's all love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my final question for the day is based on your defensive coordinator. So you get to play under Pepper Johnson. For anybody who's an NFL fan, you have guaranteed heard this name at some point or another. Longtime defensive line coach in the NFL. In 2019, however, he jumps over to the spring world, starting with the AAF, where he was with the Memphis Express, which I thought was kind of cool. He gets to return to Memphis now
Memphis,
with the
yes.
USFL. But then he also coached as a coordinator with XFL 1 or 2.0. He now finds himself in the USFL. He's again back for year 2, which is a huge deal for the USFL because he's again great coach. How excited are you to work with Coach Johnson? And he kind of like giving you any light on how he intends to use you for 2023?
Yeah, so just being in contact with the organization and the coaches, like I think that the biggest thing that they did is with entrusting in me is just being able to fly around and using my expertise and discipline and just being able to use my versatility. I'm going to be playing a lot of really any position of the safety. They want me to be an interchangeable safety. So whether it be nickel, playing high, or just going man to man with people, they want to be able to put me all over the field. And I'm really, really excited to be in a position like that because again, it just goes back to utilizing what I think the best part of my game is versatility. So whether it be putting me inside the box, sending me on blitzes, dropping me in coverage, like I'm very excited to work with Coach Johnson and the entire Memphis defensive staff because they entrusted in me. They were super excited about me, joining on. Dave Rosano called me and was like, "Man, we really are excited to have you. Like, you were one of our players that was high on our chart, and just to be able to, be thought in that light, it fuels me. So I'm ready to get out there. I'm definitely ready to bang heads. Like it's just with the offseason training and working, you just anticipate that time stepping on the field, touching the grass. And, me being back on the outdoor game is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to working with that defensive staff for sure.
Absolutely. One more bonus question, real quick. Do you believe that it's going to be easier? Not necessarily easier. Do you think the game will have slowed down for you after playing in the IFL?
It's funny you asked that because the IFL is so fast. Like people don't understand how fast the game is. You got high motions, you have just high scoring games, like like being able to like you can literally have somebody score, your offense scores, and now you're right back on defense. So just being able to have the changeover so fast, I think that it'll actually slow the game down a little bit going back outdoors. And obviously there's more people on the field outdoors, more space. But I think that for me, I'm rangy. I feel like I'm I feel like I'm fast, and I know that I'm fast. But just being able to have more space to operate and even allow myself to be a little bit more deceptive in coverage and stuff like that. You didn't really have that space to operate like that in the IFL because you had the wall and it was only 50 yards. But I feel like now being back outdoor, it gives me the ability to be rangy, to be able to fly around, to be able to, make my fits in the right places and stuff like that. So I'm not going to say it's going to be easier, but I will say it probably will slow the game down a little bit. So I'm very excited for the opportunity and just, being back outside again. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Poor choice of words on my part. I didn't mean easier, slower.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously. But anyway, let's go ahead and give you an opportunity. Shout out anybody you want, whether it's businesses, sponsors, family, friends, whatever it may be. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, man. Well, one, I just want to, give a big shout out to Shady Sports Network. Appreciate you guys having me. I love talking about my story. I try to use my platform to encourage others and, help people chase their dreams and continue to do that. Shout out to the Grander Society. That is my business. We are a holistic investing platform that helps people and motivates people with their mind, body, spirit, and finances. We're simply a lifestyle branding company that, we try to show people how to live life to the fullest. And, whether it be investment tips, how to buy a house, credit tips, all sorts of different things like that. And even just from physical health and wellness and working out and stuff like that, we try to utilize our platform to do that. And we also utilize our platform to try to highlight small businesses and stuff like that. So just, again, trying to heighten the community. We do a lot of community service as well. So I just want to shout my team out at the Grander Society. I appreciate everybody that supports the brand. And on top of that, just my family, friends that have been supporting me on this journey. It's been long. A lot of people thought that, I wouldn't even come this far, and I'm very excited to just continue doing what I'm doing. So, Memphis, I hope y'all are ready for some good football. I know I'm ready for some good eats out there. So to the city of Memphis, I appreciate you guys, to the organization, to the Showboats. I appreciate you guys giving me a shot. So, hey, I'm ready, and, it's showtime. Let's get it.
Absolutely. It looks like the Showboats will definitely be putting on a show in 2023. I'm excited. I'm encouraged by everybody they've brought in this offseason, and I think it's going to be a great season in Memphis. Memphis fans, if you're listening, please do us all a solid as USFL fans and show up, be in those stands, put butts in seats, for lack of a better term, because quite honestly, we need to support these leagues for them to last, whether it's the XFL, the USFL, the IFL. It does not matter. Support all football, because at the end of the day, it's giving coaches, players, personnel, regardless, it's giving people jobs, places to play, places to continue to develop, and eventually, hopefully, get to their ultimate goal, which is the NFL.
Absolutely.
So again, please, I'm asking you as a fan who cannot have a team in my state, please support the Memphis Showboats in 2023 and every other team that plays there. Because like you said, USFL is great football. But with
100%.
that being said, thank you so much, Jeff, for joining me. If you want to stick around a little bit, I'd love to talk to you off camera for a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and close up the show. And then if you're here, cool. If not, I'll catch you another time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you. So once again, guys, Jeff Ejekam, a just amazing player to watch. Again, super excited to see what he can do in 2023 with the Memphis Showboats. And shout out to Inside the Lines, who is, again, one of my more loyal friends and viewers who seems to tune in, share our stuff out quite regularly. It's incredibly important to share each other's work to get us in front of other audiences that we don't otherwise tap. So again, thank you everybody for your support. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share this with your friends. And again, check out that merchandise that we finally dropped. Have a great day, and go Eagles.